Hey guys, welcome to our YouTube channel Mainframe Girls. Till now we have been started two series. One is dataset overviews and the other one is abends. And today we are starting another series of videos that is mainframe utilities. As you know, there are many utilities or pre-programmed procs which are there given by IBM to us, the IBM basic utilities. So I'll be taking one by one utility and their use and the JCLs, how to explain how the JCL work, everything I'll be telling you. Basic IBM utility and the dummy utility which you can call is IEFPR14. Okay, which we call it IEFPR14. So this is a basic utility and you call it as a dummy utility as you call it dummy utility because whatever most of the tasks which you do with this utility can be done by any of the panels like ISPF panel, we can or SGSF panel, we can do that work. So now normally it is called as a dummy utility, but normally if you are learning JCL or learning mainframe, so this is the first utility you try because it helps you for a syntax error because it'll do nothing. It you can use to just to create, see, use to return control to user and terminate. So just a normal job will run. So it is usually used to create an empty dataset or delete an existing dataset. Normally we can do this creating empty data sets and deleting from an ISPF panel, as you know, from 3.2 we can do. But this is a dummy utility if you want to check how JCL works, if your code is right, if you're learning some parameters. So see, simply in this JCL, it's you mention your program or program in this place in exec statement. This is called an exec statement. I'll be explaining the JCL statements in upcoming videos when I'll go in depth in JCL. So in DD statement, I'm saying this data set will be created with new disposition in this volume with space this much. Okay, so this is getting created and this is getting deleted. That's it. So this thing can be done from 3.2 panel also, but learning mainframe, learning JCL, it's the first step to be taken with IEFPR 14. Here comes the next utility, that is IBCOPY, which is used for partition datasets, that is PDS. So all the functions which you do for a PDS are done by IBCOPY. So I'll tell you what all can be done. You can copy a PDS from one member to another member. You can merge two PDS files, which means you can merge all the members in one file, two or three or four PDS files into one single file. But you have to take a constraint of that directory of the new where you're merging so that it have an enough space of occupying all this. And you can create one PDS file, means you can create a PDS file. As you know, in PDS file there will be a members, or members are again a PS files, right? But you can create a backup of this member which is into one single PS file. With that you can simply do a FTP, you can bring that outside and you can save it in a tape. So for backup everything, you can put all a PDS file in a single file. And while you're copying, you can do, means when you're copying from one file to another file, you can do another thing called specific members. If you want only specific members to be copied, then you can select, there's a statement called select where you can select and send only a specific members in it. And another thing, in replace members, suppose if there are same names in one member and another member, you can use this you can also replace, when you're copying from one member to another member, you can simply do a replace of this name there, and you can do a rename while copying. Means while your member is going from one PDS to another PDS member, the PDS file, then you can rename the file in the new file as you want. And you can also exclude, the way you can select specific members which you want to go, in the same way you can exclude if some files, if some members you don't want to be loaded to the other PDS. And you can, the main thing which we do almost every time is compress when we want to free up the space in the PDS. As you know, PDSE can organize its space on its own, but PDS cannot organize. So you have to run this compress to make by using an IEBCOPY so that it will empty the unused space. So this is the first ACL which I'm telling you, copying one PDS to another PDS, a new one, okay, which is in different volume. So if you want to copy, say this is the file, source file which you want to copy, and that you mention as share. Okay, and here I'm creating a new, new PDS member with 20 directory blocks, and I'm copying this PDS to this PDS. Okay, this is some type of, you can call it a backup, or if you want to work on a new member and you don't want to disturb the old member, then you can do this, because there will be many PDFs which you don't want to disturb the original file, source file. So you can move it to this file, and that will, this is the parameter which you use, copy parameter, and you say out dd means to where the data should go, that is the dd statement is this one, sysut2, and the in dd means from where the source is, sysut1. So this is how you can copy your data from one PDS to another PDS. So as I told you, we can copy only selected members. So while, see, if this is one PDS file and this is another PDS file, and if I want that to be copied, this, I want this data, only some particular members to be copied to this, not all. Suppose think I want only PGM1 and PGM2 to be copied from this to this, and I want this to be excluding. I have mentioned both of them here, excluding and copying selected members. See, so this, only this two members will be copied and the PGM3 will be excluded while getting copied. Here comes next thing which we can do with IEBCOPY is merging to PDS files. As I told you, not only two, we can concatenate, as we say a word called concatenate more PDS into one PDS. I want this source one and source two to be merged to this file. Just remember that suppose this is having directory block of 10 and this is having directory block of 10. Remember, it should have a bigger directory block, at least 20 and more, 25, 30, so that the members in both of them can be easily accommodated in the third one. Just you have to mention like this. In DD, you have to mention this two DD names, the both of the DD names for the out DD. See, to this sysut2. Just make sure that there's an enough directory space. It cannot adjust the directory space. The increasing is not possible. So make sure it's possible. You are creating a data set with more space so that this both can be merged here. Not only two, you can concatenate more than two files. Suppose if you want the member to be renamed in the new data set on the target file, see if this is the file in which I have PGM1 and PGM2, and when PGM2 is going there, I want its name to be changed to PGM3. Okay, while copying, not only one member, I can do for many members. So this is how you do. You do the select statement, select member, PGM1 will be copied as it is, but when PGM2 is getting copied, its name will change into PGM3. So like this, if you want the new name to be there in the new data set, normally you can do after getting copied, but just for remembering, so that this is the member which you are changing to this, then you can do it during IEBCOPY only. So here we are doing replacing a member name while copying. Okay, so you can replace a member name. So suppose, see, this is a source file. So, and I'm copying data from source file to target file. Okay, that's what I'm saying here. See, our DD is sysut2 and NDD is sysut1. So I'm copying this from this, right? So when I give R here, which says replace, okay, replacing. So the existing file name will be replaced, this one, and PGM2 will be copied as it is, and the PGM1 will be replaced. Okay, the most important thing which we do IEBCOPY is this compressing PDS thing, because if you remember, when we get SB37 or SE37, mostly SE37, while we are creating a new member, in the PDS file, it will throw a error saying that it doesn't have enough space to create a new member. So at that time, try to run this IBCOPY compress. In compress, as I told you before, sysut1 outdd is the place where you're copying the data and NDDs from where your target. So this is source and this is target. So while running an IBCOPY for compress, the both should be same. This is both DD statements should be same. The data should be copied to the same file. When you're copying the data to the same file, see, when you're copying the data to a same file, then see, both are same. Then the data will be compressed and it will be reorganized in that. It will be properly reorganized. All the deleted things will be organized at one end and you'll get a more space for a new member to accommodate. As I told you before, taking backup of a PDS file, we can take a backup of a PDS file into a tape file or to a new PS file. See, PDS file is with a file with many members. It can have members, right? Depending on its directory block, it can have many members. It can have 50, 60, 70 members in it. But what's a PS file? PS file is a flat file. It's a normal file. But you can copy a PDS file into a PS file and you can copy a PDS file into a tape as a single file. It is a type of storing your file without any issues. You cannot access that file, but you can just keep that file and you can restore it whenever you need it. See, this is a normal PDS file and you're copying into a tape file, which is a PS file here again. So see here again, this is a normal PDS file which you're copying into a PS file. See, there's no directory block while creating. So you give the sysut2, sysut1. So you're copying this to this, right? You can store this file. Okay, you can store this file with no issue. You can move. You cannot do a FTP of a, as you know, right? You cannot do FTP means moving your file to outside of your system to our notepad, which is not possible for a PDS file. When you make it to a PS file, you can easily do a FTP of file after getting it outside. Okay, so there's many uses. It's a type of saving your file, like protecting your data. So the last step which we are doing is restoring from a tape to a system. Okay, when you're, as I told you, you can save it, take backup, but how can you get it back? It's simple. Nothing. You have to use this file, and again you have to create a new PDS or create a PDS before and do a copy again here. Just you have to run IEBCOPY so that it will be copied directly from a PS file to PDS file. So it's a normal, it is called unloading. The previous thing which we were doing is called loading, and when you are getting the data back, it's called unloading. As you remember in the starting when I was explaining PDS dataset, I was telling it is having load modules. So this load modules will be unloaded back to same PDS as the members. Just remember the directory block you are giving properly. So if you want to know more about IBCOPY in practical, I can explain you from the system. Just let me know if you want all the practical explanations of IBCOPY, and I'll be putting more videos with IBM utilities, different IBM utilities, ICKDSF, IKIDS FT01, and there are many other utilities which are used in our day-to-day time. IDCAMS, the biggest utility and the biggest access method utility, which we'll be explaining in future. So please let me know if you want any other videos from our side. Kindly share, subscribe to our channel. Thank you.